For decades, the world lived with a silence. Not the silence of peace, but the silence of uncertainty. There were rumors, whispers, speculation, that somewhere in the desert, beyond public scrutiny, something powerful was being built. But no one could prove it, because the policy was simple: never confirm, never deny. This was the doctrine of nuclear ambiguity, and it held until one man broke it. His name was Mordechai Vanunu. Before he became a whistleblower, he was part of the system. Born in Morocco in 1952, Vanunu migrated to Israel as a child and eventually found work at the highly secretive Negev Nuclear Research Center near Dimona, a facility long suspected by global intelligence agencies to be connected to nuclear weapons development. He was not a scientist designing bombs. He was a technician, but sometimes proximity is enough. Because inside that facility, Vanunu witnessed something the world had only guessed at: processes, materials, production systems. According to his later testimony, he observed plutonium separation and production, key components in nuclear weapons manufacturing. And over time, he began to understand the scale. This was not theoretical research. This was capability. Israel, a country that had never officially acknowledged possessing nuclear weapons, was operating a program far more advanced than publicly admitted. And then, Vanunu made a decision. He took photographs, dozens of them, images from inside one of the most secretive facilities in the world. He kept them hidden, and then he left. By the mid-1980s, Vanunu had traveled abroad. Eventually, he reached London, carrying with him not just claims, but evidence. There, he met journalists from the Sunday Times. But even they did not immediately believe him. The burden of proof was too high. So they tested his story. Independent nuclear experts, including former weapons scientists, were brought in to verify his claims. They examined the photographs. They analyzed the details. And they reached a conclusion. The information was credible. When the story was published in October 1986, it changed everything. For the first time, detailed evidence of Israel's nuclear capabilities entered the public domain. The silence had been broken. But power does not tolerate exposure. Before the full global reaction could unfold, Vanunu disappeared. He had been lured out of the United Kingdom to Italy. There, in Rome, an operation was waiting. Agents of Mossad had tracked him. He was drugged, captured, and transported back to Israel in secret. No public arrest. No extradition process. Just disappearance. When he reappeared, it was inside an Israeli courtroom. The trial was held behind closed doors. The charges: treason and espionage. The sentence: 18 years in prison. But the punishment did not end there. Vanunu spent more than 11 of those years in solitary confinement, isolated from the outside world, with limited human contact. Not for violence, not for sabotage, but for disclosure. And still, the policy remained. Israel did not officially confirm its nuclear arsenal, but the ambiguity had changed. Because now, there was evidence. Estimates based on Vanunu's revelations suggested that Israel had produced enough material for dozens, possibly over 100, nuclear weapons. A secret, partially revealed. When Vanunu was released in 2004, after serving his full sentence, freedom did not mean release. Restrictions followed him. He was prohibited from leaving Israel, restricted from speaking freely to foreign nationals. His movements monitored, his voice still controlled, because some truths, once spoken, are never fully forgiven. Vanunu himself maintained that his actions were not betrayal, but disclosure, that he acted so the world could know. And that is where the story becomes larger than one man, because this is not just about Israel. It is about power. It is about secrecy. It is about who is allowed to possess weapons and who is not, who is inspected and who is exempt. Vanunu did not create this system. He revealed a part of it, and for that, he paid a price few are willing to pay. 18 years, 11 in isolation, a lifetime of restrictions. But the question remains, what is more dangerous, the secret or the man who exposes it? Because history does not only remember leaders, it remembers those who spoke when silence was safer. And Mordechai Vanunu spoke. If this story challenged what you thought you knew, like the video, share it with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe, because the most important stories are often the ones buried the deepest. Organize, resist, and be unbreakable.